You know, a lot of companies waste an enormous amount of money on marketing. The design is excellent, the photos are beautiful, and your website looks great. But it's not getting customers. Why? Because you don't have the words that make people buy. But now you can. Fix that with Sage Tree. Sage Tree can help you find the words that make it easy for your customers to understand what you do and how to buy from you. Stop wasting money today and schedule a call. Getting started is super easy. Visit sagetree.com and click on the schedule an appointment button. That's sagetree.com and click on that schedule button. You know, Chris, one thing I like about...
We're about to interview Tasha Williamson.
Oh, is she on?
Yep.
Oh, well, then I guess we'll hold that
We'll hold
segment.
that, yep. So thanks for calling in, Tasha. Tasha Williamson is our next guest. How are you, Tasha?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for being here. First, let's talk about the program that you and I have been running for the last year or so between San Diego County Gun Owners and yourself and the folks that you represent and know.
I would love to. I just want to thank San Diego County Gun Owners for being there to support 2A among BIPOC community, and that it's been like enormous in helping to educate the community and also bring together, kind of like be a bridge to two different sides of folks that have really come together in a dynamic way to help and teach and grow, not only together, but people and their Second Amendment rights, because we all deserve to have them.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's really been wonderful. Of course, San Diego County Gun Owners is for everybody, and the Second Amendment's for everybody. So we're super happy. We do outreach. I want to reach out to every group. But I've found the most important thing, no matter who it is, whether it's people that collect cars or off-roaders or different heritage or different political circles, whatever it is, whatever group we're doing outreach to, the most important thing I've found for successful outreach is to have somebody from that group who's passionate about the Second Amendment and what we're doing. And that was you for the group that we've been with, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. It's been really, really wonderful. What was important to you about introducing San Diego County Gun Owners, the Second Amendment, and firearms training and education? Why was that important to introduce that to your circle of influence?
Well, because there have been an increase in people purchasing firearms, of course, that are Black or African American, and there were people, in the community. The consensus is that most Blacks were taught that firearms were bad, and that they weren't really taught about the right to self-defense. And so the important thing to me was to make sure that Black people and other people of color knew that we do have a right to defend ourselves, and we do have a right to be safe, in our homes, in our vehicles, in our cars, or, walking down the street in any community, and at any event. And so you really, and your organization and the folks that you brought in really helped us to understand more about our rights, and then also how to properly be firearm owners, and how to defend ourselves in different scenarios and situations, and stand up for ourselves as well. And not only that, we were taught that the firearm is not the first choice. And so we've learned many other tools that we have now besides the firearm.
And I can't tell you how much I appreciate you like when we had the listening sessions in El Cajon, when the county was looking to, ban firearms or looking for more ways to ban firearms. You showed up and made a really important statement, and I think it's great. I really like seeing people from all different walks of life, all different groups, step up and say, hey, the Second Amendment's important to us too. How do you think it's going? Are we successful? Do you think that the outreach we're doing and the folks that show up and are learning more, has it been good? Has it been successful?
I believe that, we have had a lot of success stories, and a lot of people have come out and begin to understand what their right is, how to use their firearms properly, how to store their firearms properly. And I've had nothing but, good reviews and conversations with folks who have been a part of it. We have entire families and generations within that family that are present. We have, individuals from different areas of the city and the county, from the BIPOC community that are there. So I think that, it's been, a huge outpour of, people just wanting to learn, right? And in that, not only do they learn, but we're actually able to build an improved network, to other people that we normally wouldn't talk to. We were exceptionally received at Discount Gun Mart's event. And, I just have to say that, people stepping out in that uncomfortability, it wasn't about Republican or Democrat or Independent Party. It was just really about, we're glad that you're here to get to know us, and that you're joining the 2A movement, because we want to be safe, and we want to be safe gun owners.
Now, what was if there was there something that what I don't know, I don't want to say changed your mind, but what maybe, I don't know if you were ever, I don't know how you felt about firearms before you and I started doing this. Maybe you were against, maybe you were totally neutral. Doesn't matter. I'm just curious, was there something that happened or a thought process that made you come around and say, hey, this is what we got to do? Is there something that happened? I know you were saying, well, a lot of people started buying firearms and that sort of thing, but was there some kind of aha moment with you where you thought, you know what, I need to be proficient, I need to be a firearms owner, I need to, protect myself, that sort of thing?
Yeah, well, one, I never, I'm not against firearms, or was never against firearms, but in my activism, I was threatened, and the threats became very real because these people showed up, and were targeting me and my family. And so I talked to you and was able to, figure out how to go about, purchasing a firearm and making sure that me and my family were safe, securing my home, as well with, cameras and video surveillance, and an alarm, so that, we could be safe. It's one thing to, have people that don't support you. It's another thing when those people take the time to threaten your life, killing you, lynching you, attacking your family, and just outright adamant about the people you love and yourself being dead. And so
and you
I defend my right to do.
Yeah, and you shared some of that with me, and showed me some very legitimate, concerning threats against you, which is unacceptable. I just don't care where people disagree when it comes to politics or policy or procedure or whatever. Threatening violence, threatening somebody's right, it's not right. It's wrong, and it was very motivating for me to say, okay, let's do this. Let's handle this, and let's make sure that you have all the rights afforded to you that everybody else. You have all the training that you need to be able to defend yourself. Now, how would you describe the non-Second Amendment activism that you do? How would you describe the activism that you do?
So, we definitely believe, I'm not anti-police. I definitely know that I'm not running into a gun battle or a home that's on fire and, things like that, threatening emergencies. And we need police, and police don't just do those things. They do other things. But I am totally against officers who are rogue and reckless and lawless themselves, and I fight and combat the injustices that those type of officers bring. I do not look at those as officers. An officer has a duty to protect the laws and the people, and if you are violating the laws and harming people, you are not an officer, you are a criminal, and you should not be in a uniform or have the power that you hold, because officers have absolute power to take someone's life, liberty, freedom, and their children away from them. And they should do that legally. They should not be breaking laws and beating people to death, as we have seen, or shooting people to death who are unarmed.
So what do you think is the most misunderstood thing about you?
People believe that I'm anti-police and I just go after every officer that I see or come in contact with. They believe that I organized a La Mesa protest that burned down banks, of which I did not. People have had made statements that I threatened law enforcement officers. The chief has gone around telling people I threatened him and his family. And I think people need to know that I believe in peace, but I also believe in justice. And I do not threaten anyone's life. I do not threaten anyone's property. I'm nonviolent. I have had the most peaceful protest that I myself have organized. And the police department has mentioned that in media and to events and organizations. So I just think that, people having this rhetoric of, I'm anti-police and I'm violent and, I'm the leader of BLM, of which I've never been even a member, or I've never even been invited to a meeting with Black Lives Matter. But I do believe that Black Lives Matter.
So what was the catalyst? What got you into this line of activism?
This one officer, actually, I just saw him the other day. This one officer, Officer Di Martin, he was extremely disrespectful at a stop. I just happened to be going to a store at the time, saw him pulled over with his partner, Officer Rosas. And they were actually the original officers that began me protesting officers because he was super disrespectful. He was actually he's a sergeant now, and I asked for a sergeant at another stop recently, and he came up very respectful, and the same person that protested alongside me for 8 months against him was there, and we had a conversation. He said, that was the most difficult time in his career. He said, but he learned, about people and about what the importance of why he needs to have customer service and treat people respectfully as an officer because of the power that he has. And now he's a sergeant, and people have witnessed him having the utmost respect and service to the public. And I said, if other officers would learn from that, they would never meet me and see me. And so that's just one story of many. We had an officer recently, Officer Hochstatter, who said that he doesn't have to have customer service skills on one of my lives because policing is not a service industry. And if that's the truth and how they feel, everybody should be worried, not just Black people, but all people, because police officers do provide a service. They are a service industry. And so I think it's just, hard. We have another incident within the sheriff's jails where a man was beaten and tased in his head. I got the call. We reached out. There's now an investigation. They're saying that something was stuck up his butt as well during that beating. And so we're concerned about officers who act in this way.
So people who disagree with, people who are listening out there that are like, Tasha, I don't like her or whatever. What would you say to them? What would you say? How would you, what do you recommend that they do to see things your way, or what would you want them to know about you?
Yeah, I would ask them to do public records requests, look at the media more to see the information that's going out. Look at the data that the officers themselves, the police departments have. They have data that says they disproportionately stop Black people in stops, use of force, tickets. I mean, this is their data that they collect. We're creating laws for police officers who are rogue, reckless criminal. Like, AB 26 and SB 2 and SB 16, where we now get to see the records of the same findings, where officers have used the N-word, where officers have said, canines like dark meat. And these officers are still able to become, one officer is able to go to another force and become an officer because he wasn't decertified. Another officer is still a sergeant.
Well, Tasha, we got a hard stop here. We got to go, but I just want to say thank you for all that you do to introduce people to San Diego County gun owners. I look forward to working with you and your circle of influence for years to come, and continuing to educate folks in your community, and being a resource and introducing the Second Amendment to groups of people that maybe we normally wouldn't have been able to reach out to without you. So thank you for what you've done for the Second Amendment, Tasha.
Thanks for watching this clip from Gun Owners Radio. If you're watching mainstream media, you're not getting the truth about guns. Gun Owners Radio is the easiest way to stay on top of the Second Amendment fight, the fight for your self-defense rights. You can watch our live stream on YouTube every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, or if you're in San Diego, AM 1170, FM 96.1, The Answer. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform. Just search Gun Owners Radio and you'll find our show. Like and subscribe to help defend and restore the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.